Hello everybody, welcome to another flight. This is going to be a career mission with using the Cessna Citation Longitude. Now, one thing I want to show you here, my plane's over here. So if you want to look at individual missions and get more choices, you can click the airport. But I want something short, only an hour and a half. That's the lowest I can get it. I look over here, and I believe there's something here. Mission list. And I'm going to take this flight here. The arrival will be IFR conditions. We'll take it anyway. Let's go ahead and choose our Cessna Citation Longitude. Let's jump in. I've already managed my aircraft, topped off fuel. Okay, what we're going to do here is click Alt Q. That'll remove everything for us. And we just jump in the aircraft. Let's go ahead and request passenger boarding. Okay, let's turn on the aircraft, shift 7. Make sure all these knobs are up, including the APU generator. Turn on batteries 1 and 2. I don't ever use external power. Sometimes it doesn't work on the aircraft. So I'll shift 5, come back here. I'll turn on the APU. Click to start, hold it for a second. Let's look to make sure it's running up. Here it is, the APU, really small, hard to see. Wait till that to reach 100. But even after that, it's still going to take some time to fully run up. So while that's doing that, let's go ahead and get everything ready. Start and wait fuel, takeoff, FBO sync, next, initialize. Let's take a look at the flight plan we got here. ILS 8C direct, but we don't want direct. I've picked out a approach, ILS approach. This one here. One thing we need to do, we need to come down to arrival port information, charts, approach, ILS Z08. All you really need is to know the ILS frequency. You can type that in here. It's 1095. So just transfer. There it is. Navigation on. And we need to be around 3,000 feet. Capture the glide slope. That'll take us down to the runway. Other things I like to do, nav log, start the stopwatch. That's to make sure we're in real time after we've sped up and slowed down the sim. Now I'm going to leave it an IFR flight because the arrival airport wants an IFR. If you try to do a VFR flight, it's not going to let you land without an IFR flight plan. Takeoff data, weather, low meteorological danger, use on board RAT, 5 degrees Celsius. So keep that in mind. Takeoff data, accept takeoff speeds. Now here it says check flaps. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's put in 1 notch flaps for takeoff flaps. Then initiate. Everything's ready. Right here we can check something. Just for the runway, we need to be 2,753, so about 2,800. 2,800 as opposed to 3,000. That's okay, we'll take that. Okay, now we're going to get ready to start the engines. Take the cover off, click to run, hold this down. It says on. Okay, you can see the N2 ignition. It's rising up into the green. I don't think we ever sent the flight plan to AFTC and avionics, so I'm going to do that. Second engine, take off cap, click run, hold it down, so it says on. Wait for that to run up all the way. N2 has to reach about 60, around 18 on the throw, 18 and 19. We'll request IFR clearance. You go ahead and turn off the APU. Click off, shift 7, turn off the APU generator. I'm going to skip the takeoff. I'm going to set up the autopilot. I'm only going to go to 20,000 feet. You can right click on the knob to change it from hundreds of feet to thousands of feet. Flight level change. You can see that here, flight level change. And altitude is set. It's in roll and pitch right now because we haven't set the heading bug. So let's set the heading bug. Heading bug to line up with the GPS. We'll click heading bug. Heading bug's been enabled. I think we're ready for takeoff. You want to make sure you have no warnings. Go ahead and inform passengers. Let's move out.
Dear passengers, this is First Officer Heath speaking. Estimated flight time to Burbank is 78 minutes. We remind you to keep your seatbelt fastened. Thank you for your attention, and let's have a great flight.
Enable full throttle. Takeoff speed. Everything looks good in the green. Airspeed's alive. I have full realism enabled, so the plane might move around a little bit. You want to rotate? Above 180 knots, flaps up. Positive grade, gear up. Heading bug to line up with the GPS line. Click navigation mode. It's already following the FMS. One thing I didn't show you is that I turn this over to manual, click this over to manual right here, and then set it for 230 knots initially, is what you're supposed to do. I did not do that. And once you get up to flight altitude, you set the speed to 300. Okay, we've reached flight altitude, but because it's blinking means we have to right click the barometric picture. And we still have to go up again. Now we're following the GPS line instead of the takeoff procedure. Auto throttle's enabled, autopilot's enabled, altitude around 20,000. Go ahead and speed up the aircraft. Now it says reach 46,000. We're not going to do that.
Center, Cessna November 69619er, 10 miles southeast of India Delta 87. Flight level 200. Request IFR to Burbank. Ready to copy.
I forgot to arm the light, but that's okay. When you skip the takeoff, it enables it for you. Other thing I want to do is I want to turn on engine anti-ice and also wing and stabilizer ice protection. Pitot heat on. That's another thing I forgot to do. So speed is sent to manual. You have to bind a key yourself for that. To do that, you go to settings, controls, type in the search bar auto throttle, and then set the auto throttle engage and disengage to whatever buttons you want. So you set the speed to manual. I'm cruising at a speed of 280. Auto throttle is enabled. I'm going to increase my speed a bit, around 300. About the fastest I can go, I've noticed, about 305. So that's what we'll set. I've also canceled the IFR and then asked for another IFR because they were going to ask me to go too high as far as altitude. I didn't want to do that. So a lot of things I messed up. I put up the gear too late. I put up the flaps before I put up the gear. I also didn't enable auto throttle in time. And what else? Oh yeah, I set up the IFR plan without decreasing the altitudes at altitude before I sent it to ATC and avionics. Well, that's okay. So I canceled the IFR, requested a new IFR after I fixed the flight plan myself here, say 20,000. Then I can just click here and ask for altitude increase or decrease by however much feet I want. Coming up on 25,000 feet. Okay, now that altitude is set, I'll go ahead and set up VNAV. Take a look at the flight plan. Let's come all the way down. Just before the runway, 2,800, rounding up. That's what we'll put in here, 2,800. Click vertical navigation mode. You see feed path is on standby, and we should have a top of descent now. Okay, it'll be too hard to see if we have a top of descent right now.
Cessna November 69er 619.
You can see here we do have a top of descent. I just wanted to be sure.
Cessna 619er, maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS over runway. 8 approach via Mikey Eye transition. Clear to Mikey Eye.
As you heard, we've been cleared to Mikey Eye.
Cessna 619er, descend and maintain 7,000.
All I'm going to do is click approach, click activate approach. It'll take us directly to Mikey Eye, just like he's told me to do. I'll have to descend to 7,000 is what it's saying. Now I've set 245 because we'll be dropping below 10,000 feet. We have a speed restriction to 250. Try to obey that. Now I've set up 7,000 feet. I'm going to put in vertical speed mode. I'm going to descend at about 2,500. We'll see when we get to top of descent. Top of descent is right there. Our top of descent has moved since we dropped altitude. But everything is looking good so far. We've already clicked approach and clicked activate approach. We can do it again if we want to be sure. But you can be sure by this localizer line that will show up here. And that line there is basically this line here, the final. Coming up to our top of descent. In Mikey Eye we need to be at 7,000. Currently at 11,400. See how that works out. Localizer is coming in a little bit better. So you can see a little bit better. Lines up with the final here. I'm dropping altitude a little bit by enabling vertical speed. Since our altitude is set at 2,700. That's just to lose some altitude. We know we need to be at 7,000 by the Mikey transition. So I'm just bringing it down a bit to help that happen. I've enabled altitude hold mode to take myself out of the dive. This thing is blinking again, so let's click the barometric pressure. Right click it. As you see, we still need to come down a little bit. Our top of descent is right there. I've lowered my speed to 220. And that's for this reason here. We need to be below 250 knots for 1-notch flaps, be below 230 knots for 2nd-notch flaps. Let's go ahead and set up flaps. Flaps 1, flaps 2. For full flaps, we need to be below 180 knots, as indicated here. I'll take my speed back to 200 now. You see we're coming up on top of descent. And just before the corner, I'm going to go ahead and click approach mode. That will enable the glide slope and the localizer to be put on standby. And you can see the altitude restriction, 7,000. That'll be for Mikey, which we're coming on to. We've just passed our top of descent and we're descending. I'll take my speed back to 170, so it's below 180, so I can put in full flaps. Again, approach mode is enabled, which enabled the localizer and the glide slope. Okay, we're below 280. Enable full flaps. We're turning on to final. Bring that speed again to 150. We have the gear down. We have full flaps. We're at exactly 7,000 at Mikey. You can see that here. Our second altitude restriction will be 3,700. And then we'll go down 2,800 just for the runway, which is here. Again, 3,700, 2,800 for the runway. You can see here that the glide slope is above us. We are under it. We are here. Glide slope's here. As we're still coming down. We could click altitude hold mode, let it intercept the glide slope. Also, that was not the, we're not on final yet, so I made a boo-boo there. I'm going to go ahead and click vertical speed and come down a little bit, because we need to be at 3,600. I thought we were already on final, but we weren't. Approach mode is still enabled though. We're still following the GPS. I'm going to take off vertical speed now, let it come down on its own. 3,600 is where it should be at. I'm going to turn up the speed just a little bit. About 170. Okay, so now we're coming up on the final. You can see that better here. The final means no more turns. Here's the final here. Approach is still enabled. Localizer glide slope still on standby. That white diamond here, we've changed over to localizer. Now I'm going to go ahead and click altitude hold mode. That should allow the glide slope to come down so we can intercept it. You want to be careful about taking out the altitude hold mode again. Okay, we've captured the glide slope. We'll follow the glide slope down to the runway. Localizer, glide slope, everything's active. All we have to do is manage the speed. The plane is actually doing that for us too. Our landing speed should be 10 to 120 knots. I like to go a little bit faster. Then when I get close to the runway, I like to disengage the auto throttle with my bind key and let it glide to the runway. But I'll get as close to the runway as possible. Disengage auto throttle and let it glide in. Trying to keep the nose off the ground for as long as possible. Okay, we've been cleared to land. Slow down the speed to 120. You should do that well before the runway so you can slow down in time. Actually, I'm going to make it 125 just to make sure we don't underspeed. I'm going to take out the autopilot, but I'm going to keep the auto throttle active. Keeping my finger on my bind key to disengage auto throttle. Disengaging auto throttle, taking my speed back all the way.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
That was a little bit of a hard landing. Could have done that landing better. Okay, let's turn off this plane. Turn that off. Turn that off. Turn the batteries off. Turn it off. Turn on the emergency lights off. Everything else you can leave on, it'll turn off automatically actually. If you want to do an extra step, you can turn it all off yourself. Everything's off. Turn off engine 1 and engine 2. Should be good to go now. See how we did. Okay, not bad. We should retest here. Even though we had a little bit of a bad landing. That's why we got 95% instead of 99%, which I usually get. I can usually do those landings very smoothly. I don't know what I was doing. But anyway, if you like this, think about giving a like, subscribing. I'm a new channel and need all the help I can get. But if not, hey, It's all love. See you next one. Ciao. Oh, see how much we got paid. I was expecting $3 million, but I'll take it. Alrighty, see you next one.